Hello, Soldier Boy here. It's been a little while. I think the last video I posted was the live stream of the Nations Cup. I could be wrong. This is this week's daily race A. There was two choices of vehicle, of car, so I decided to do 2 races in each and see how I get on. Looking back, not the most exciting racing. They're not the fastest cars in the world. As you can see from practice, I qualified in 8th for the first race. I'm using the Corolla Levin for the first 2 races. Yeah, it was interesting. It's not exciting. They're not fun to drive. But I thought, I haven't been able to post due to work for a little while. I've got to give it a go for this week's daily races, and I haven't got much time this week to do videos and things due to work and other things at home. So I had a little while this afternoon to try and get some racing in, and this was my first race. Did a little bit of practice, like I said. I think about 10 laps. I've used the track. I like the track. It's just getting used to this car on this track. That was the only questionable thing. So here we are for the first race. 8th place start. Not the greatest getaway. A little bit slow really there on the power. Not that this car has any power, but you know what I mean. And we're going to head into the first corner. First corner, already incidents ahead of me. Someone's ghosting now after being caught. And I got a little nudge from behind. We've managed to squeeze our way through. We've made up 1 position into 7th at this point. Yeah, that first corner is a nightmare from the start. A little bump from behind there. It's just, you've got to try and pick your line on this. A car ahead of us got a penalty. I will say in advance, penalties on this track with this car mean nothing. Because the penalty normally slows you down to about 58 miles an hour. By the time you hit the penalty markers, you're not doing 58 miles an hour. So actually, it doesn't slow you down. Most penalties will be for corner cutting, things like that anyway. Yeah, you don't notice the difference. So penalties don't mean that you're going to catch people up, because they're not actually being slowed down by the penalty. But coming to the end of lap 1, and we're in 7th, so 1 up from starting. The only good thing about this race, although the cars are slow, it's quite a quick race. 5 laps. It doesn't take long to do it. Just trying to hold the car there, trying to get around the last bend. And we're across the line after the first lap. Not bad, 1 place up, so not too bad, not too shabby. Braking for the first corner. Keeping an eye on the radar for the cars behind us, knowing that people will dive bomb. I did find these races were a little bit of bumper cars at time. But I think that's generally a trend with the slower car races, is they do become a bit of bumper cars. Hold it together nicely. We are gaining slowly on the cars ahead, very, very, very slowly. Like the title suggests, qualifying is key. If you don't qualify high, your chances of finishing high are very low. I know, a bit of high-low there. But yeah, it's very difficult unless someone makes a mistake, goes off, gets bumped. You don't really catch. Slipstream is on, obviously, but doesn't really make any effect. As long as you hit your apexes and you brake in the right places, you've just got to be consistent and hope for people ahead of you to make mistakes. So you've got to do well in qualifying. You've got to maximise that, really, to gain anything out of these races. So end of the second lap, nothing happened that lap, as you can see. I'm still roughly the same distance from the car ahead. Still keeping on the radar going into corners. The car behind us is still just behind us. This was my biggest issue with these races, was just you're hoping for mistakes ahead while trying to keep a decent line and your concentration on yourself. I did find I was a little bit quicker in some of the corners than others, but not brilliantly. The car ahead did look like he cut that corner. We got a bad line out of it though, so we've managed to really close that gap now. We're right on his back bumper. So we're going to switch to the inside. and then we get hit from behind there, which sends us off into the gravel. The other British driver there hitting us off, and that's really knocked us back. Our chance of catching is going to be very, very small at this point. So we actually dropped back down to our starting position of 8th, all because of one car not braking for the corner there, using me as his brake. And I don't believe he even got a penalty for it, which is annoying. But then we all know what the penalty system is like, unfortunately. So, end of the 3rd, start of the 4th lap, we're down to 8th starting position, so we're okay, we're about evens. Just trying to catch the cars ahead of us. 7th went very, very wide on that first corner. At this point in the race and of the races I did, I was just trying to work out best lines more than anything else. Just trying to find if what I was doing was the correct lines. 7th going off there. I think he got a nudge really to send him off. I don't think that was all him, but we've taken the position back now. We're back in the 7th. And next up is the British driver who knocked us off, although he is a little bit up the road from us. Just trying to keep it tight. If I could give anyone any advice for these races, other than qualify high and get your best qualifying time, this bend here, I soon learned you don't need to brake. I am still braking in this race, but I did learn, you'll see later on, if you swing it in from the start and use throttle control, you actually don't need to brake in that corner, and that will help you get a better time. First corner, I think I was alright with the first corner. Braking late, you know, that last single cone, braking just before that was kind of enough for me. And this is with no traction control on, but if you do that, if you burn the tyres up like that, you're bogging yourself down, and that will give you a slow corner. Just little snippets that I kind of learned. I'm sure most of you already know those kind of things anyway, but it was just the little things I learned. So still in 7th, just trying to keep it in 7th. Chance of catching the cars ahead is very, very small unless they go into the gravel really. But I think we're comfortable from the car behind, and say that as he comes up on us now. So it's going to be a race for the lights. Another British driver here, DJB212. So he's taken 7th. We're back to our starting position. Can we undercut him on this corner? We've braked again. He's gone very wide. I don't know if that's because of my nudge or not. I did nudge the back of him by the looks of things when he braked, but we gained the position back. So we finished in 7th, started in 8th. Not the best result, but then I think my highest position in the whole race was 7th. So, like I say, qualifying is key for this race. The cars are just too slow to do any more than that. And if we go by the number rule, they wanted us to finish 9th or better, so we did that. So that's not too bad for us. So this was the second race, still in the Corolla Levin. I improved my qualifying time a little bit. I don't think it's a massive improvement. And we're qualifying in 9th. It's still not brilliant, because there's only 12 people in the race. Not the best qualifying time. I would at this point expect more exciting action, but yeah, got a better start. But not really gaining much straight away. But the first corner is normally a lot of incidents, so we're going to take it easy. There's cars going off there, just trying to keep it tight. We took the inside just to stay out of trouble really. So we gained a position into 8th, wary of the car in 7th. He seems a little bit raggedy and all over the place. Can't really turn in when I wanted to, since the cars were in the way. Another car gets bumped outside, but he had the better exit by the looks of things. He's not giving us any room on the outside there. He was quite happy to hit the front as he was trying to take the line, even though he was offline. But that's okay. Braking for the corner. Bumper cars again in the middle. We're just got to hope for a good exit. There's penalties being given out, but not that it matters. 3 cars messing around between them there. We're getting a bit boxed in by them. But we're right in the thick of it at this point. The car itself, yeah, not too bad, as we get bumped off to the outside and into the gravel. You could say I turned in on him, but I don't know. There was a bit of a, I'm not sure if that was my fault or his really at that point. And now we are stone dead last at this point. Yeah, the car was okay for an M100. What can I say? I'm not going to say it's the best car in the world. I would say, if anything, it bogs down a lot if you're not careful. If you don't take enough speed out when you hit a corner, it bogs down a hell of a lot, and that's not good. But yeah, so we're in 12th. There's 3 cars ahead of us. A little bit of a corner cut there, just to try and keep the speed, and there's our penalty for corner cutting. Not that it'll matter, as I say. Penalties don't matter because you don't go fast enough to make them matter. Taking the corner very, very slow, really. You should be hitting the exit, already doing over 40 at that point. So yeah, not the best exit. As you can see, we've dropped behind the cars ahead of us now. Coming then to the end of the second lap. So this is when I've worked out you could actually not, if you don't have to brake. Use throttle control just to make sure you don't go too wide, and you do gain time on people by doing that. And then braking just before the last cone there. They're really battling ahead of us. That's going to enable us to catch back up. Gone quite deep though, but yeah, we've definitely caught back up with the 3 of them ahead of us. Trying to just regain some positions after that knock off. One's massively cut the corner there. We're going to go along the outside at this point. Them 2 are very slow out the corner. Got both places comfortably. I think I am finding a lot more I'm at a massive disadvantage with slower cars by using a controller, not a wheel and pedals. Mainly for the gear changes. I think if I could change gear manually, which on a controller I'm sure most of you know is difficult, so I just don't do it. I could probably get a little bit more speed out of the car, but yeah, I need to kind of take that plunge, I suppose. I don't see the point in buying a wheel before the PS5's out, so that won't be happening. But I kind of need to take the plunge with trying to do manual gears. I think that's the only way forward. Although I have watched videos and it's shown that a wheel isn't that much quicker than the controller generally, but changing gears is the big thing. That's the difference I think between winning and losing a lot of time, is the manual gears. And automatic gears on a very slow car like this, you're at a massive disadvantage. A bit more argy-bargy ahead of us. We are now 10th. 1.5 laps to go. Another car's gone off there onto the grass. That will make him a bit slower. We're going to try and take the inside here. We've got the run on 9th. We're going to brake for the corner. We've given, who was at 8th at the time, a little bit of a punt. We were braking, had nowhere else to go. He's kept the position. He's got the slipstream. We haven't at this point. He wants us to know he's there. We know he's there. We're not trying to push him. We're just keeping straight at this point as he keeps going into us. We've braked for this corner, which I was trying not to anymore. But braked later than him and got past him. A little bit of nudge on the tail end. I don't know if that was us or him turning to us. We were past his front end at that point. So final lap, first corner. We're up into 9th. Car ahead has gone very, very wide there. But he seems to have the legs on us coming out the corner. We're going to try and take the inside. I'm wary of him pushing us off, which he does try a little bit. We're going to keep to the inside, hope for the better line. We had nowhere else to go and give him a little bit of a bump, but he's going to have the better line. Little bump back by himself. We had to turn in late because he was there. He was not happy to give us any space, and that late turning slowed us down. The car behind us is now behind us, literally on our tail, staying out of the slipstream strangely, but he's going to get boxed in. We've braked heavy for the corner, trying to take the inside. We've nudged him a little bit though on the exit really. One bend to go. I don't think we're catching at this point. Like I say, catching up in this race is very, very difficult. He did brake for the corner in the end, thinking, alright, I'll take the outside and hope, but too wide onto the grass. We are going to come across the line in 10th though. Not the best race. And if it hadn't been for the punt off into the gravel, maybe could have got a little bit more from it. But these things happen, unfortunately, as we all are well aware. So 2 races down. To this point, I changed car. I went into the Sprinter Trueno. I did some practice just to see if the car was any different. It felt faster, but I don't know if that was in my head or it was. But I did a better lap, so we actually qualified in 5th place. I think I'm roughly 3 seconds off the top times in the world, which isn't too shabby. I like, I try and be within 5 seconds of the top times, and that's for me still quite a bit far away. But from how I race, that's not too bad, I don't think. We got a very good start. I felt we got off the line really quickly in this car. It doesn't bog down as much, I found. Braked early for the corner, was looking at the shenanigans ahead and trying to stay out of trouble. Get him hit a little bit from behind there. Maintained position in 5th. Into the second corner here. We took it very deep, but just trying to get a good inside line here. Just trying to get 4th. 4th gets all out of shape there on the exit. He's going to have the inside though for the next corner, which is going to play havoc with us. He's gone straight into us. We tried to give him room, but he just went straight into the back of us. Got a little bump from behind as well. That does push us past him into 4th though, which we'll take at this point. We are on this group of 3. 5th is trying to come around the inside, use us to slow himself down. We're going to get a penalty for that, which is a bit unfair considering we were just taking a natural line. And if you saw what I mentioned in the last race about penalties not making a difference, the guy who had a 2-second penalty didn't even slow down. That's what I mean by the penalties not making a difference. So car turns into us. We're trying to get back some position. We're still in 7th just. Braking for the corner. End up going quite deep in the end of it, and probably on the acceleration a little bit late. So we've dropped from a 5th start into 7th. Because of that tangle at the second to last. But we're okay. Ignoring the penalties ahead, as we know, they don't mean anything, they don't do anything to help, so there's no point. One car's left the race, but we're in 7th, we're okay. Started in 5th though, so we do need to really try and get a couple positions back. But it's all going to be on corners. When you've got this kind of gap, with the slipstream not really doing anything, it's not even about it's not even about the driving anymore. It's all just about being consistent, because otherwise you've got nowhere to go. Guy's got a penalty. We've ghosted into him as he ghosted for his penalty. That's okay. We've gained the position. We're up to 6th. We have got a little bit of a run on 5th, and we haven't got a slipstream though. We're going to use 5th really as a barrier. We tried to just take it naturally. We didn't brake. We just throttle controlled it, and he kind of stopped us going too wide. The natural line was taken away from us, but we've gained the position up to 5th. Probably a little bit dirty. 6th is going to give us a little bit of a back end touch there, which is going to slow us right down. And then we're being forced off the track as well by the Spaniard. I hope it's Spaniard. I think it is. Another Spaniard gives us a touch from behind as well. So it's a Spanish sandwich at this point. One ahead, one behind. We've given the Spanish a touch there as he went extremely slow around that corner. You can take it at full throttle. And now it's a case of trying to catch the cars ahead and hope for better cornering. But another Spanish driver takes the inside. He wasn't afraid to give us a little touch just to get past us. But we've got the better exit and a little bit of slipstream, so it's going to keep us ahead of him. As we come to the final bend of the third lap. At this point, I'm not braking anymore for the corner. It's all throttle control, full throttle, and then throttle control just to keep it going too wide. And that's it, and I'm finding that corner is a lot quicker that way. Braking very late for the corner. Too late because I'm burning up the wheels, which is going to slow me down. Car behind though messed up the corner as well, I think, by the looks of things. But we're still in 7th. Someone's gone off ahead by the looks of things. There's a yellow flag out. Just trying to keep it tight at this point. I can see we're taking the corners at like 36 miles an hour, some of them. That's just how slow these cars really are. Comparing this car to the other, this car does feel faster. I don't know if it's in my imagination. I think the braking is better on this car. You can brake a lot later, I felt, and confident with it. It doesn't bog down as easily, and it just generally felt faster. But that probably is in my imagination, to be honest. So we're in 6th place. Last bend before we start the last lap. Turning in nicely. And then throttle control. And we are catching the cars ahead due to how we take that corner. So it's definitely the fastest line. 5th has gone completely off-road there, but he's managed to keep his position. It didn't seem to slow him down very much. We've kind of had to turn in twice there. Definitely messed that line up. But try and accelerate quickly out, or as quick as the car will go, which isn't very much. We need them to make mistakes. I've massively cut the corner onto the AstroTurf to take the corner, really. Doesn't seem to have any effect. You can seem to cut that. I don't know if it's the fastest line, but they don't seem to get a penalty for going across the AstroTurf there. So we need them to make a mistake now, with two corners to go. 5th has kind of gone all over the place. We are going to take 5th back, so we're back into our starting position now, in 5th place. One bend to go. If we can keep this bend tight, not do anything silly, we should keep our 5th place. And there we go, cross the line to 5th. I did say these aren't going to be the most exciting wheel-to-wheel action races you'll ever see. But yeah, a 5th place finish. Which, yeah, it wasn't too bad. Like I say, this car felt quicker. But I don't know if it is in my imagination or not. Number on the car says 4th and we come 5th, so not a bad result. I'm pretty sure if the guy shakes your hand like that, you got more DR, I think. I'm still trying to get to grips what picture shows you actually had a good race. And I think shaking the hand is good. So we're qualifying 5th again. I'm going to try with number on the car's 4, so same again. There was something I was going to try with this race, was the start. So I did the start slightly differently. I was accelerating more before, as the countdown was progressing, and then full throttled it. Tried to time it perfectly onto the 0. I think I did quite well. Tried to turn in there, and a car was not braking for anything. He was quite happy not to brake on that corner. But we've maintained our 5th. That's something. I just don't see why people just don't brake for corners. I don't understand. Car is completely cutting across the grass there. The most annoying thing is, like I say, penalties don't mean anything. If he gets, and he's got a half a second penalty, but it's not going to mean anything. You can cut every corner in this race, and it won't mean anything. I think anything more than like 2 seconds, it will affect you. But other than that, it doesn't. Just because you're not going quick enough in the penalty bit anyway. So a little bit of argy-bargy. Here we go. Penalty over, and I've not gained at all on him. So cutting corners doesn't make any odds in this race. Or so it seems anyway. I'm sure someone could tell me if I'm wrong. So not braking on the final bend. Just trying to keep it tight with throttle control. We have gained back up onto 4th. Due to that last bend, I think that's the best opportunity to try and gain time is on that last bend. People seem to brake for it. Trying to keep the line tight. Got a touch there from 6th. He just basically destroyed all our paintwork. He does flash his lights to say sorry, which I really appreciate. It's unlikely you watch this, but just in case you do, I do appreciate that. But at the same time, yes, okay, you were faster through the corner than me. But my paintwork did want to be in one piece. Didn't need it all scratched off. But yeah, no, I wish more drivers were more like that. He knew he made a mistake and he apologised, and you know, I can understand that, and I think that's nice. Just don't see it enough. If you watched, I think it was the last live stream or the one before that for the Nations Cup and Manufacturers Cup, I made a mistake at a corner. It was right at the end of the race. I nudged the guy and took his position, so I stopped near the line and let him pass. Didn't matter because he hadn't done his tyres correctly, and I gained positions anyway, so I was always going to finish ahead of him. But that's racing etiquette, and I think that's the big thing. I try and be fair. I make mistakes. I don't brake enough for some corners. I do catch people sometimes as well, but I try not to. I think I'm quite a fairly fair driver, and I do let people back past. And like I say, a nice little gesture from the driver ahead of us. Back to the racing anyway. There was me just going a little rants there, to be fair. Back to the racing. We're in 6th. We started in 5th. We're on the 3rd lap. It's all quite close, which, as I was saying, it will be. Unless you get flicked out onto the gravel or you really mess up a corner. The person in first shouldn't really get too far ahead of you. That's why it's always better to qualify high. There's 3 in a bit of a tangle there going into the corner. We're hoping to take advantage of that. We need one of them to have a slow line out. Didn't really gain anything from it, but this is the bend that you can gain, so hoping that they all decide to brake and we can take a different line. Flicking it in there, trying to hold it, using throttle control just to keep the line, and yeah, we gave him a little nudge off. As we were going a little bit wide. That's our fault. He gives a little nudge back as he tries to cross us to get his line. He's obviously not racing with radar because he would have known we were there. Hopefully he should have known we were there. But it caused us to go a little bit slower than we would have liked. But still in 6th. 4 laps in. Just trying to just keep pace. No one's getting away, like I say. I think it's harder to commentate on dull races than it is on good races. It's really difficult to try and make it sound exciting and fun, because it wasn't at all. I just wanted to do 2 races, 2 cars, because I thought that was the fairest way of doing it with the time I had. But yeah, it's so difficult to commentate on dull races. So I've tried my best anyway. 1 more lap to go here. While we're going through the rest of the lap, we are going to try and catch the car in 5th. He's ghosted. I think that probably was because of us. He's going to take a weird line. We've braked. We've had to brake a couple of times. He's slammed on the anchors straight in the corner, which has caused us to go a bit slow after we nudged him. Penalty ahead isn't going to make any difference to us, as we all know. Plans for the channel. If you're watching this, keep an eye out for. I'm going to try tomorrow morning. I did these Daily Race B, which I really enjoyed. I only did 2 races due to time constraints, but I'm going to try and get that on tomorrow morning. This will be on tonight, yeah, tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow night will be Live Nations Cup. I've noticed because of the time changes they've done, there's a 20 to 10 race and an 11 o'clock, so I actually will get 2 chances. There isn't a British car to use for it, so I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do about that yet. That's something I do need to figure out. But here we go, cross the line, we gained a position, 5th place. So we started in 5th, finished in 5th. Not too bad an ending really to the race, but yeah. Biggest takeaway from Daily Race A, other than don't bother, it's a boring race. You have to qualify high. You need to be in 1st place or 2nd. Otherwise there is no point in doing the race. It is just one of those. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.